guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this little video we're going to be doing a complete strip down of my son's Traxxas Maxx. And I'm not going to go through the whole strip down like I did with the orange one, because you've already seen it, but I will be changing out the spur gear from a plastic to a metal one, which I will video and show you how that's done. But this one is very much the same as mine. Got the wide maxx kit on there, got the alley hubs on there, we've got the steel CVDs. Other than that, everything else is basically standard. Also want to show you another little trick with these bumpers. Now my last one, I did buy a new bumper mount for it because it was bent up like this one is. But what I've done a little test, and my one that I did bend, these bits here are supposed to be straight, so coming out this way. I boiled the kettle, I put it in a jug, and then I straightened it out, and look at that. So that is basically brand new again. So that will go on there. I'll replace his one, put that on there, and he'll have basically a brand new bumper again. So a little trick: if your plastics are kind of bent on the front, or your wheelie bar, which I'm going to try it with my wheelie bar as well, if they're bent, boil the kettle, put them in a jug, leave them in there to soak for a while, pull them out, give them a little bend back straight, so you're kind of pushing down like that, you know, straightening it back out again, put it back in the water, do that a few times till you've got it where you want it to be, then run it under a cold tap. When you run it under the cold tap, it cools the plastic down and makes sure it holds position again. So that worked a treat. We do the same sort of thing with car bumpers when we're repairing them in a body shop. So, you know, heat the bundle up, pull it out, the plastic, and you can cool it down and it will hold that position. Works exactly the same for these. So if his wheelie bar is okay, but my wheelie bar was absolutely knackered. It was completely bent down. I'll give that a go as well and see how that works out. It gives me a spare wheelie bar. So anyway, I'm going to crack on with this. I'm going to do the vehicle first, strip all the diffs out, change all the bearings, change all the greases, check it all over, give it a clean, and then I'll come back with changing out the spur gear. So see you in a minute. Right guys, so welcome back. I've given this a full strip down and a clean, and taken all the diffs out, stripped all this apart, same as I did with my orange one. Checked all the gears, all the teeth, everything's fine on there. I've put 500k in the rear. There's 20 million on the center diff, and we've got 50,000 in the front. Put it all back together, greased it all up inside, all looks fine and dandy, everything's nice and clean inside and lovely, and gave it all a bit of a clean up, a little bit more to do on the arms, and gave all these a nice clean up as well, so they're ready to go back on. The new straightened out piece on there, so I've got the old one that came off of here, so there's a comparison of what it looks like and what it should look like. So I'm going to do a little video on this, and I'll probably try the wheelie bar and show you how I heat these up in water and straighten them out. It might help you guys out there with some plastics of any kind really, to try and save some money with having to replace bits and pieces. So that's all those bits back together. But what we're going to do now is we're going to put the metal spur gear on for the Traxxas Maxx. So this part number is 6448R. It's direct replacement for the one that's in there. Apart from that one in there is plastic, and this one's metal. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a screw on the back just in there. So hopefully the lighting's okay for you. And I'm going to buzz those out and take it apart and get this changed over.
Put that to one side, that one. Now this case should lift out. Oh, got one left. Got that one there. Right, okay.
So there we have it. So they're all the screws you need to take out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one in the side. And what we'll do is we'll tip those out, and we'll give all that inside that case a nice clean up. And literally, you just take that out like that, and you've got your bearings there. So we're going to give those a check over. We've got our pinion gear, another bearing on there, and then this is our main spur gear. So I'm going to crack this one open, just double check that this is correct, and make sure that it's the same size. I'm going to take this pin out quickly. So that marries up. That's the right one. That's what we're after. So let's buzz these screws out and double check. So it's only these outer ones that you need to undo, I believe. So let's pop them out and have a look. Right, and that then just pushes out. And that's what you're left with, that there. So that's got the opening on the back there, like that. And that's the opening which, so we turn this round that way. And this should right, so we push this into there, and it is tight, which you want a nice tight fit, which is good. And that is that. So let's put these screws back in. So if there was a little changeover in the video there, I had a visitor come pick up their car. Buzz these screws in. Let's give that. As always, don't need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just give it a nip up. You're going into plastic, so you don't want to thread it out, but you want it tight. These are pretty good. Fit in there beautifully. Right, so that's one spur gear all fitted up. And let's take a little look inside there, and it all seems to be pretty nice and tidy. So I'm just going to give that a little wipe out. I'm going to check these bearings over, and I believe that they're okay. But I'm going to give that a little wipe out, check the bearings over, and I might just change them anyway because I've got the kits to do it. And I'll catch you in a second. Right, so giving that a nice little clean out in there, I checked both of these bearings out, and they're both really graunchy. So they're not very nice. So two brand new ones there, so they're going in, and So pop one back on the back. Throw this pin back in there. Put that pinion on there and the bearing back on there. And I have got grease, some of the marine grease that I'll use right down in the bottom there. So I'm not going to put any on the spur gear, but that should fling up and get up onto there and just keep everything you know, kind of greased up and a bit more water repellent. So, oh, it's just popped off. So just make sure everything is lined up and that before you put it in. And that just slots back down into place. And there we have it. We have got a new spur gear in there. So that's all married up, that's all done. I'm just going to clean that case up. So it's not too bad, but it's just a little bit filthy. Well, not filthy, but just a bit dirty and dusty. And we've gone to all this effort to change all the bearings and all the diffs and all that. Is silly really not to give us a nice clean up, make sure that there's no dirt or anything in there, because there is a bit of dirt in there caught up within the grease and moisture. So let's give that a quick clean out, and I'll be back with you in a second. Right, so that's all nice and clean now. It looks like new. I don't know if anyone does the same. Most of you probably do. GT85 with PTFE. It's an RC owner's, you know, weapon in their arsenal. You know, you should all have it. Spray it on all your bearings, your plastics before you go out. Especially if you're going out in the wet, helps to protect it. And then once you've cleaned your car down, spray it all down. You know, all into the bearings, helps clean them all out, protect them, keep them greased. And then your plastics, when you spray all your plastics up, it helps to make them a bit more supple and a bit more bendy, to limit the amount of breakages you get. And not only that, it cleans them up so they're like brand new again. So PTFE in the GT85 helps to repel the water, but this stuff's the nuts. So you always want a tin or two of these sitting around. Brilliant stuff. So just in case you didn't realise, the cover does actually separate on there. So you can put one half back, or you can just take half off to check if you want to keep an eye on things. But so one bit goes in, buzz this back together. It's just a cover, so you haven't got to go crazy with how tight you do them down. And last but not least, we've got this side one. It goes in there. And that is how you change spur gear in your Traxxas Maxx. Quick, simple, easy. Take a quick look at the old one, and the other one is absolutely perfect. Now it's had an absolute hiding, same as my other one, and the plastic ones are absolutely fine, but I do like to go with the metal one. It does give me a bit more peace of mind of, you know, it's a bit more hard wearing and longer lasting. I have got a cable tie over the top here, so that when the dust cover's on there, it doesn't push down to the fan. It leaves a little gap under there just to give it a bit more breathing space. So I'm going to throw all these nice clean covers on, and I will show you the finish in a minute. Right guys, so there we have it. The little Mini Maxx is all back together. Front bumper all cleaned, all done and dusted underneath. Back end all done. Just need to take these shocks off, give all these shocks a nice clean, and put some new oil in there. And I did notice as well that these steering arms, they've got a little bit of a bow in them. So I might do, when I do the video of the hot water, you know, getting the plastics back, and let's see if these will work as well. I have got 2 of these spare, so I think I'm going to throw them on anyway, just so you know, I know that they're perfect. But all in all, stripped down last night, probably 2 hours start to finish. You can tear all this apart, all the diffs out, change all the oils, change all the bearings, put it all back together, and could get the covers on probably about 2 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes. You know, and that's not rushing, that's just doing it at your own leisurely sort of pace, depending how quick you work and whatnot. But if you want to know how to strip the whole Maxx down, check out my other video with my orange Maxx, and it gives you an in-depth on how to take them all apart and strip them all down and change all the bearings and the oils and stuff like that. But for this one, it's all ready now for my boy. Change the spur gear over, nice and simple, and it's all ready to rock and roll. So I'm just going to cut a little bits like the shocks and bits and pieces. But I'll do a little video on how to get your plastics back in shape. I'll try and do that within the next couple of days and get that out. But for now, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, share, hit the like button, and I will see you on the next video.